So today I'll be drawing a Chessie System SD40-2. And the first step, as always, is that I put the rail down. And the rail I put right between 1/2 and 3/4. And you want to have a nice straight rail that goes all the way across, because having a straight rail reflects in the frame being straight and the roof line being straight. And then come in somewhere between 3/4 and 1 inch from the side. And then the engine itself is right between 10 1/4 and 10 1/2 in the scale I draw. And it's right between 3/4 and 1 inch tall. As you see, I put about 4 marks. And I want to go in right at about 1 inch, between 1 1/2 and 1 3/4. And on the engineer side, you can go all the way down. On the conductor side, it's at an inset where the cab, and the cab itself is right about 1 inch, and the engine height is 1 inch, and the back porch is between 3/4 and 1 inch. So the first step we should do is we have this measurement that it's right at 1 1/2 inches. Why don't we just sort of draw the roof line just so that we have a nice clean box? Sort of like putting the border on a puzzle, as I've said. And you want to come down a little less than 1/4 inch to get this rear headlight. And then draw the front of the cab. And little over 1/4 inch. And then -2 locomotives. Took me a while to sort of see this when I was first starting out. They have this little bit of a slope on the back there. And one of the first steps is to put these steps in here. They're a little bit less than 1/2 inch and right at about 1/4 inch up. This kind of helps see where the nose goes. Since we're putting the one on the front, why don't we put the one on the back? SD40-2s have these big porches. Just see. Just kind of check. And kind of, this is 1/4 inch of this back. And then right about here. And then the nose is, when we put the front number board in, and then right about 1 inch is the height of the nose. Maybe make the nose a tiny bit longer. Make the nose right at about 1 inch tall. And then basically we want to go back about an inch and a quarter or so, because the step goes all the way across on the conductor side and it stops right here. So on the engineer side, and go 2 3/4 right here. So right here, one of the first things to do is to put this step in. Otherwise, if you start making doors, they'll go all the way down and they're not supposed to. And you can kind of measure down. This is right about the height of where the grill would go, but it's also the top of the doors. And usually we put the engine room doors in first, getting a little ahead of myself. There's 4 doors here. This is right about an inch right here, and an inch right here, and a half an inch there. And these doors are kind of want you to look at that. And this kind of comes in right about 1/4 of an inch. Then these doors are a little wider. These are quite a bit over. About there. A little bit wider than that 1/4 of an inch. Kind of getting this ready to put the grills in. And we can put the battery box. Also, why don't we put the front slope here. And right about here is where the battery box goes. And there's this little okay, well, that's actually a pretty good start and then the next step we'll start putting in the grills. All right.